What's up, guys? So today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite stocks in this moment right now at the time of recording this. Now, and this is BMNR. If you don't know what this is, it's uh, Bitmine Immersion Technologies. And before I get into why I like this stock, I'm going to say this is not financial advice. You shouldn't be picking stocks based off of what people say on YouTube, especially me. Do your own due diligence, your own research, and pick stocks that you like. But anyways, I'm going to share why I really like this stock. First of all, let me share my screen, and I can just show you my Robinhood account. I'll kind of put my money where my mouth is and be like, see, I told you I like it. Hold on one second, let me pull it up. All right. So Bitmine Immersion, it's basically like, okay, you know MicroStrategy, it's a crypto treasury company. MicroStrategy is actually a Bitcoin treasury company. They pivoted to becoming a treasury in 2020 when Bitcoin was around $11,000 per coin. And now Bitcoin's at 110,000 and 111, somewhere around there. And MicroStrategy is like $330. Well, when MicroStrategy pivoted, their stock was trading at $16 per share. So they've had a huge increase, way more of an increase than Bitcoin. And so BMNR, Bitmine Immersion Technologies, is doing the same thing only with Ethereum, the second most known cryptocurrency. So let's go over here to BMNR. As you can see, I have 211 shares. So I like this stock, right? And so this was the last trading day. This is Saturday as I'm recording this, September 15th. But let's see, it's been a rough ride over the last month, right? It went down, it's going back up, 3 months. So we can see this huge spike here, right? This was when they announced that they were going to become an Ethereum treasury company. And before this, Bitmine was a Bitcoin mining company. Their stock was trading at $4.75 ish, around there. And then Tom Lee from Fundstrat, a bunch of other investors basically got together, Peter Thiel, Kathy Woods, and they said, hey, let's pool our money together, put it into this company, Bitmine Immersions, and then launch a treasury play with it. And the reason why they did that is because BMNR they had a very clean balance sheet. So they only had around $1 million in debt, which is very clean for a lot of corporations. And so they put all their money together. They said, hey, we're going to start buying Ethereum. Their whole goal is to own 5% of the world's Ethereum. And since this date, June 27th till now, they have become the second largest crypto treasury in the world. The only crypto treasury in the world that's larger than them is MicroStrategy. And they have $9 billion worth of assets. I'm gonna show you a really cool tracker that tracks all this stuff that they own. The only crypto treasury that's bigger than them is MicroStrategy. They are the largest Ethereum treasury company. And so why do I like this stock? I think it's undervalued because I think the price of Ethereum is going to go up. If we look at crypto, we look at Ethereum here. So here's Ethereum over the past 5 years. So Ethereum went up to, its high was in November of 2021, and it got up to around, was that its all-time high? It was like around 4,800 or 4,800 in 2021. And so 4,600. Then it went back down. So, but what's going on here is because of stable coins being used by Wall Street. If you don't know what stable coins are, Maybe you remember the popular IPO from earlier this year, Circle. It IPO'd at $30 a share, and now it's at like $300 a share. Let's see what Circle is at right now. Circle, I don't know much about Circle, to be honest, but they do something with stable coins. And stable coins are basically cryptocurrency that doesn't fluctuate in value like Bitcoin or like Ethereum. Like if we look back at crypto, there's a stable coin that's listed here. I think it's USDC. It's always $1. So what's the point of this is crypto doesn't only have just value, but the technology behind the blockchain, some cryptos are able to use it for different stuff. And so there's a lot of different stable coins like USDC. There's a lot of other ones that are coming out, and every single stable coin that's being created is being built off of Ethereum. So if you think of Ethereum as, okay, like let's say that this piece of paper was one block of Ethereum, right? Well, there's a bunch of technology in here that they can actually use to create other coins. They could use it to verify smart contracts, so they can use it to basically verify when payments are being made from one party to another. And so the financial system is starting to use this. And there's a lot of companies that are using a lot of Ethereum. And every time that you use Ethereum like that, it actually burns some of it off. So it makes the supply go down. Just like with Bitcoin, there's a limited amount of Bitcoin that's available. Well, with Ethereum, there isn't a limited amount, but when it's being used, it gets burned. They call it gas fees. But here's the other beautiful thing about Ethereum. When you hold it, you can stake your Ethereum. It's called staking, and what it actually does is it gives you a yield. I think it's somewhere around 3% yield. But whatever your Ethereum's worth that you staked, then you get 3% of that in Ethereum. And so BMNR's plan is to purchase up 5% of the world's Ethereum, which they're on their way, and stake it. And I just saw an interview with Tom Lee talking about this. With all the Ethereum that they already have right now, if they decided to stake it today, that would lead to, they would get $300 million in revenue per year. $300 million in GAAP revenue per year just from staking the Ethereum they already own. So it's a $300 million per year company already. That's why I like this. And they have basically zero debt. So we don't have to worry about margin calls. We don't have to worry about their creditors calling them and saying, hey, we need you to liquefy or liquidate or sell some of these assets so you can pay their creditors. They don't have that. So it's a $300 million company with $9 billion in assets, and it's trading at $55 a share. And here's the other cool thing. I'm going to show you this really cool site. It's called BMNR.rocks. I'm not affiliated with this site whatsoever. Okay, I get no kickbacks or anything if you use it. I don't know who made this site. I'm just using the free version, but it's pretty cool. So right here, this is showing the price per share of the stock, $55.67. The Ethereum price, because when Ethereum goes up, then BMNR usually goes up. See, here's how it works, right? BMNR bought all this Ethereum, and then you buy a share of BMNR stock, which means you own a very small part of the company that owns all these assets. Well, BMNR, they're doing different things. They're selling more stock when the stock goes up so that they get more cash to buy more Ethereum. And so they have all these different plays. I'm not going to go into all the details of all these different plays and all these different things that they can do to make it so that their whole goal is to increase the amount of Ethereum owned per share. A good example of this is if you bought into BMNR when it first launched the treasury play, every share of BMNR, if you owned one share of BMNR, you essentially owned $4 worth of Ethereum through that share. that you owned. Now, if you one share of BMNR, if you own one share, you essentially own around $40 worth of Ethereum through that share. So this is why treasury plays are really valuable. And so let's say that you bought that share back in the early stages and it was only $4 worth of Ethereum that you're owning through Bitmine, through having that share of stock. And then you just did nothing. You just went and lived your life. You went on about your life for a couple months. And now all of a sudden, oh, that one share of Bitmine that I have, it actually, correlates to, because they've acquired so many more Ethereums, this is $40 worth of Ethereum now. And that's why when we see the stock of Bitmine, that's why we see that it has gone up. Even though Ethereum has about doubled in price, the stock price for Bitmine has gone up more than 10x compared to when they first announced the treasury play. So that's why I really like this stock. As you can see right here, this website's pretty cool. Current accumulation goal, this is showing how much Ethereum they have. So 2,069,000. So this is 2 billion or 2 million. Yeah, thousand. It's a million. So 2 million ETH is what they have. Their goal is 6 million ETH. So once they have 6 million, that's when they'll have 5% of the supply of ETH. And I'm assuming once they start staking they'll have like $800,000 worth of revenue, gap revenue that they can report coming in. Think about it like this. When you own a stock, usually we want to see earnings per share go up, right? If the earnings per share goes up, the company becomes more valuable. The stock price goes up, right? That's what we want to see as shareholders. Well, with BMNR, we want to see Ethereum per share go up because the net assets of the company they're accumulating more, and then Ethereum is going to become more valuable because the financial system is using it as its backbone now. They're just transitioning to this. But the other caveat is we also get earnings per share too, because when they stake the Ethereum, the company makes earnings. So really bullish on this. I would say that it only makes sense to do something like this if you believe in Ethereum going up. If you don't think it's going to go up, then why would you buy a leverage play on it? And you may be asking well, why won't I just get Ethereum instead of BMNR? And it's because of the fact that when you own BMNR, when you own shares of BMNR, the amount of Ethereum per share grows because of the company's operating activities. When you own a part of Ethereum, let's say that you buy $100 worth of Ethereum, the amount of Ethereum you own stays exactly the same. Ethereum's price goes up over time, but let's say that you own half of an Ethereum, which is somewhere around $2,300 right now at the time of recording this. Let's say you own half of a token of Ethereum. And 2 years from now, even if the price goes way up, you still just own half of a token of Ethereum. The amount of Ethereum that you have, it didn't increase over that time. But with BMNR or other crypto treasuries, there are some other Ethereum treasuries, but BMNR is just the largest. And that's why I really like them. They're executing like crazy. You can see right here, this is the ETH that they've purchased and the days that they've purchased it. And this is the amount of cash that they had on hand, the purple line right here. So you can see they had a lot of cash. Their cash went down because they're buying all this ETH. Then they have some more cash. And now it's going down because they're buying more ETH. And they're steadily just doing this. It looks like they should be able to hit the goal of 6 million ETH somewhere between January 9th and April 17th. And I think it's going to take Wall Street a while to catch on to this, because I've seen some analysts looking at this and they were just looking at the price of the stock compared to the crypto mining company, because none of this is reported yet. This has been all within the last quarter. all within the last quarter. So there has been no earnings call talking about this yet. So if you look up BMNR on Yahoo Finance and you look at the earnings calls and you look at the financial statements, all you're going to see are the financial statements from the crypto mining company that this used to be, right? You're not going to see any of these earnings until they report in October. And that's when they're going to be talking about everything that we're mentioning here. And I think after a couple of quarters, once Wall Street really catches on to what's going on here, this stock is going to skyrocket. At the same time, I believe that Ethereum is going to be going up, especially in November, December, when we typically see crypto shooting up towards the end of the year. And let's look at this little NAV playground. So NAV is your net asset value, right? So this will show, this shows what's going on right now, right? Okay, let's look at this like an area chart, because this shows you how these things are related to the share price of BMNR. So you have your price of Ethereum, and let's just put it at what it is right now, because the price of Ethereum is, let me just double check and look. Price of Ethereum is 4,600. Okay, so it's like right in the middle of this range. Perfect. And let's say MNAV is 1. So you have your net asset value per company, right? Just explain what MNAV is, because these are the things that you have to use to see, like, if this stock makes sense to buy. So you have your net asset value. That's all the assets that the company owns. It's cash, it's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum, because they do have a few hundred Bitcoin, because they used to be a Bitcoin mining company. So they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So it's their cash equivalents, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are the assets that the company has. So you take the value of all these assets and you divide it by the amount of shares that are outstanding, amount of publicly traded shares that are out, and that's what gives you your net asset. That's what gives you your MNAV, right? And so that basically kind of gives you like the price of the stock. If you have an MNAV of 1, what that means is that the net assets that the company owns is equal to the market capitalization of the stock. So market cap, that's shares outstanding times the stock price, right? If those are both equal, your MNAV is 1. If you have an MNAV of 1.5, that means that the market capitalization is 0.5 times higher than the net asset value, right? And so we've seen this kind of fluctuate between 1 and 3 since it's launched. So let's just say that Ethereum is 4,400, and these are the Ethereum holdings that it has right now. These are the amount of shares outstanding. So this shows that with the MNAV of 1, that's right here, the red line, that the stock price would be $39.68. And right now, the stock price when it closed on Friday was 55. So the MNAV is a little bit above 1. It's not quite 1.5, because 1.5 right here shows a stock price of 59, right? MNAV of 2 shows the stock price would be 79. And so, but let's just look at, okay, if the price of Ethereum jumps up, right? Let's actually move this, because it's predicted that Ethereum should be anywhere between 5,000 and 8,000, predicted by a lot of people by the end of this year. So let's just say 5 to 8 to be conservative. Other people are saying 10 to 20. Let's just say 5 to 8 to be conservative. Even if it still has just an MNAV of 1, which is the red line down here, and it gets to 8,000, Ethereum itself, the stock would be valued at $72. But I'm telling you right now, the stock is already valued. It already has a higher MNAV than 1. It's closer to 1.5. So even if it gets to 8,000 and they don't buy any more Ethereum, which they've actually been buying like thousands and thousands of Ethereum per day, if they don't buy any more Ethereum, if they don't do anything else, the company does nothing. They just go on vacation, right? And Ethereum jumps up to 8,000. Well, the stock is going to go up almost double, anywhere between $72 and $108. And this is just my opinion. This is not financial advice. But let's look at like the bullish prediction, right? Because Tom Lee thinks that it's going to go between 10 and 20,000 by the end of the year. So let's put Ethereum price between 10,000 and 20,000. And they don't buy, let's say they don't buy any more Ethereum at all, which is unrealistic because they've been buying it every single day. But let's just look at that. So at 10,000 Ethereum price, we have a stock. I mean, you have a stock price anywhere between $84 and $126. Really, it could go up to $252, depending on what the MNAV is. But let's say it gets up to 20,000, $167 per share to $500 per share. Like this company, Wall Street doesn't see what's going on with it yet, and a lot of other people don't either. This is definitely not the kind of company that I want to buy and try to trade. I don't want to buy it and then wait for like the price to go up and then sell it, and then because it's unpredictable, because this is crypto, so there are fluctuations. But I do believe that Ethereum is going to continue to go up as it's being adopted by the financial institutions in the US and in other countries. And as this happens, then this company is going to become more and more valuable to the financial structure here in our economy. And I think this is just a big sleeper. A lot of people are sleeping on it. If you like Ethereum, if you like crypto, definitely something to take a look at. See you in the next video.